Welcome, everyone, to our call on small business and personal branding. This is Andy at 6 Apart in San Francisco. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. If you have to jump off the call, that's completely fine. We will be recording this for you, and that will be available later on. But for now, I want to get rolling and get started. If you have questions during the call, just pop those into the Q&A area or the chat room, and we'll get to those at different points during today's call. We're expected to run about an hour today. Again, my name is Andy. I'm at 6 Apart in San Francisco. I do a lot of our blogger training here with the typepad team. But today we've got a special guest to talk to you about small business branding and a worldwide expert on branding. Very excited to have Kirsten Dixon, who is a personal branding consultant who is an authority on building credible online identities for career and business success. She's the co-author of Career Distinction, which I have on my bookshelf at home. Career Distinction is the name of the book, which facilitates the personal branding certification programs for Reach. She also works with high-achieving executives and entrepreneurs and delivers corporate personal branding programs. Kirsten delivers keynote speeches and serves as a media resource on online reputation management topics. She's recently a guest on the Today Show, that is completely awesome, and has been quoted in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Boston Globe, Real Simple Magazine, More, Advertising Age, and CIO.com. Check her out at www.kirstendixon.com, and that is Dixon, D-I-X-S-O-N. So kirstendixon.com. Kirsten, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Andy, and thanks for the spelling. Otherwise, you get a chef in Alaska.
People always mess up my name, so I always try to preserve last names.
Absolutely, and I have your book on my bookshelf as well. So
Yay!
Very good.
All right, so let's get rolling.
Great. Well, I'm delighted to be here. I'm a huge fan of typepad, so when I was asked to do this, it was a no-brainer.
Awesome.
So let me take you guys through the agenda on the next slide.
Yes.
And Andy's driving, so I'm going to try to cue Andy.
That's right.
Great. So it's a pretty straightforward agenda. We'll talk about really the definition of personal branding, so we're all on the same page with respect to understanding what personal branding is and is not. We'll talk about the benefits for entrepreneurs. Getting personal branding right is not always easy, so it's important to know what's in it for you by investing in the process. We'll talk about the steps for uncovering your brand, because you really already have a brand. You might not just know what it is yet. And then we'll talk about, once you've discovered your brand, how to express your brand and become visible to those who need to know about you. And of course, we can't have this webcast for typepad without talking about how to brand your blog.
That's right.
So next slide.
Yes.
So what is a brand? We defined branding and personal branding as nothing other than your unique promise of value. So it's unique because it separates you from your peers and competitors. It's a promise because people expect it from you. It always comes from you. And it's something that's going to be of value to your target audience. Now, the promise part, I think, is one of the easiest to understand about branding. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
When I say Volvo, what do you instantly think of?
I think of their boxy design for their cars.
Safety.
Safety,
yes.
Thank you.
Sorry. I don't drive, so.
Maybe doesn't have children. Right. So Volvo really is known for safety. They've built their brand around safety. And if Volvo started exploding upon impact tomorrow, we would no longer associate Volvo with safety, and their brand promise would be damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's really the definition. Now let's get into the next slide, some branding myths and truths. So a lot of people think that branding is really about marketing or spin, creating a false image. And when really personal branding is based in authenticity, being the best of the best of who you already are and really maximizing that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, people think that branding was invented by the big guys, right? The Nikes or Coca-Colas of the world, and really branding has been around since pre-industrial times. It's why people walked an extra mile to Mr. Miller's bakery instead of the closer one because the bread was just far and away better at Mr. Miller's bakery, right? Or that was the perception, and perception is reality in branding. So a lot of people think that branding is just for the big guys, products, companies, and branding, everything is a brand, right? Cities are brand, or, have a brand, and certainly, huge branding examples among people, think Oprah, Richard Branson, Madonna, Bill Gates. In recent, probably in the past couple of years, there have been a lot of new kind of personal branding experts on the scene that really define personal branding as your Google results, how you brand yourself only online. It's all about, number of Twitter followers and so forth. But really all of that online identity work is best done after you've discovered your authentic brand online and offline.
Right.
So we'll get into the whys and hows of that. So on the next slide, why branding for entrepreneurs? When I've been in this branding space for about 5 years now, and one of the things that I really love about personal branding for entrepreneurs in particular is that what I found in working with my clients, a lot of people are uncomfortable with this idea of self-promotion. They might be really good at what they do, but they're not good marketers. And when you really invest in branding, put your time and energy in that, and really become known for something, over time what happens is that you actually have to do less marketing and less self-promotion because opportunities that are right for you automatically come to you. And you really, attract your ideal clients rather than going after anyone and everybody who, happens to be able to sign up. And also, when you have a strong brand, you can really command a premium. If we think about, coffee, for example, we're going to pay $4 plus for, a Starbucks coffee when we could get, coffee for $1.50 at the local coffee shop, right? We pay more because we want to have that brand association. We pay more because we want to have the consultant who specializes in exactly what we need, who's the high-end consultant. And also, we gain leverage in partnerships. People will approach you when you have a strong brand all the time, really wanting to, associate with you. I was recently hired by a small firm to help them brand their leadership team, to really figure out the individual brands of their top 5 leaders so that they could really attract stellar employees to their business. I thought that was very forward-thinking of them. Their brand name isn't one where, people would want it on their resume. It's not like, I'm going to be, put Nike or Coke on the resume. And so they recognize that, potential employees will really want to come and work there because they really want to work with that particular leadership team. So it really makes sense for them to, have these stellar LinkedIn profiles, for example, and to really have their leadership team blogging. And when you uncover your brand and your brand is synonymous with the business brand, you're going to be aligning your business around your values and your passions. This is going to energize everything that you do. And, when you're an entrepreneur, you're putting in 80 hours a week, right? You really need to have, this congruence between the work and your personal brand. And we all know that strong brands thrive during economic downturns, and so it certainly makes sense to do this now. Okay, next slide. Let's get into brand discovery.